Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are talking about the long anticipated holiday collection from Chanel. This is called Les Chaînes d'Or de Chanel. But before we go any further, let's take a second to grab our iced coffee or a hot coffee. Let's take a sip and let's get started. If you guys are new to my channel, I'm a makeup artist as well as esthetician, and I now offer this one-on-one beauty consulting service. So this is where you and I chat virtually, one-on-one, privately, about any and all beauty concerns you might have. So if you want to pick my brain or if you have pointed questions, please make sure to click the link in the description box down below to make your appointment. So Chaîne d'Or means gold chain. So if you imagine a Chanel handbag and the chain around the handle, that's what the inspiration is here today. The gold chain interwoven into black leather was first introduced into the House of Chanel in 1955 with the classic 2.55 bag. So Lucia Pica, the artistic director of Chanel Makeup and Beauty, used this gold and leather chain as inspiration for the entire collection this year. If we look at the promo photos for the holiday collection and holiday season, we see black and gold everywhere. It's very enchanting. It's also very welcoming. It's very soothing. It's very nice to see. Now, if you're curious as to where I bought my collection, I live in Montreal, and my wonderful Chanel beauty advisor, Myriam, hooked me up. Myriam works at the Bay in Carrefour Laval. So what I did is I talked to her on the phone and she sent me items in the mail. I feel like that's my preferred method of shopping these days, unfortunately. I will make sure to leave Myriam's contact information in the description box down below. So if you want to reach out to her, go ahead. Thank you, Myriam. So let's talk about the collection and what I got. So first of all, there is this beautiful new illuminating blush. And as I mentioned, the Chaîne de Chanel, Chaîne d'Or, the golden chain pattern is everywhere, including all of the powders. So you can see this really beautiful, intricate chain detailing. Now there are also 4 single eyeshadows, and these are the Ombre Première formula and texture. There is number 425 Or Antique, which means antique gold. There is number 926 Or Blanc, which is a golden white. Then we have 927 Cuivre Rose, which means like a copper rose color. And then our last one here is 928 Cuir Brun, which is sort of a leathery brown. And then there are also 4 beautiful lipsticks. These are all the Rouge Allure texture. So this is a satin finish texture lipstick that's pretty pigmented. The darker colors usually historically have always been pretty saturated and intense. And of course, there's a beautiful nail polish. This is number 773 Chaîne d'Or Golden Chain. So I picked up most of this collection. I got the illuminating blush. And I got 3 of these eyeshadows. I got the shades Or Antique, Cuivre Rose, and Cuir Brun. And then of course I got this beautiful nail polish that just looks like liquefied gold. This is only day 1 of this nail polish here, so what I'll do is I'll wear it for 7 days and then give you guys an update and review on the wear of this nail polish here. Now I did skip all 4 of the lipsticks, and at first it was a no-brainer. I was like, oh, I don't need a new lipstick, but now I think that I do. For some reason, I don't have enough, obviously. So I might do a second dip. I might do a second order because some of the deep, rich red colors might be lovely for the holiday season. So I might do a second order. Now, I just want to show you the packaging for the Illuminating Blush Powder, as well as these single eyeshadows. Since these are limited edition, they have special packaging. Now, they all have this beautiful chain embossing going across the front of the box, and then on the sides, you have the color of the product. So whether it's the illuminating blush or the single eyeshadows, they all have this beautiful intricate detailing, which, you know, I am just happy to see. I know when it comes to luxury, we do pay for the name, but we also pay for the extra special packaging, and I'm glad that it's here. A few extra things I want to mention. Myriam sent me this beautiful card here for the holidays. It has Chanel written on it, and she sent me this, and then yesterday I saw the new advertisement for the Chanel No. 5. It has Marion Cotillard dancing on the moon, and everything is saturated in gold, and I just realized that this card here has the moon in gold on the front. And then the last thing she sent me is this beautiful makeup kit here. This is Chanel Beauty. It's a beauty bag that I can hopefully one day travel with and put all of my items in here. And it has the same sort of feel and coloring of black and gold. It looks so holiday, so festive, just so inviting, and I love the whole thing. Now, I am heavily inspired by Marion Cotillard's looks in this little short film about Chanel No. 5. She has a couple looks, but there's one in particular that looks a little bit smoky, but a little bit golden as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mix some of these beautiful shadows together to create something really elegant and lovely. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by dipping into Cuir Brun, and I'm going to use one of the little sponge tip applicators that came with the single here. These are actually pretty good. I know a lot of people throw them out, but if you simply want to transfer color onto your eyelid, these are great. So let's just dip into this. I'm trying to not erase the beautiful detailing on this shadow here, but I don't think I have a choice. So let's go ahead and dip in. Now my eyelids have been primed off camera. I use the NARS Radiance eyeshadow primer. Radiance? No, it's the NARS eyeshadow primer. It's the one that I use every single day. This is actually a really lovely color. You know, here in Canada, we've received this collection a few months after certain countries. I think in the US, they got the holiday collection in late September, and it's given me some time to really curate my collection because I've seen lots of people talk about it, and I know for some people this wasn't a really special shade, but it's quite nice. It's dark, but it has a little bit of lightness to it. I think this could be blended out to be even lighter, but I think if you wanted like one quick smoky eye, this could be it too. Okay, so this was a very little effort. It's really just the exact same color in the pan here. I think people really underestimate how wonderful these little sponges are because they just transfer the color so well. And now going in with a big fluffy brush, let's just blend this out. You know, I didn't even add more product onto this brush. I just blended out what was already here. But now I'm just going to go in and touch it very lightly, just like this, and just add it onto the crease here. I'm not trying to make this too dark. I'm just trying to bring the color up a little bit. And now going into Cuivre Rose, I'm going to just place it over top here where I already put this brown shade. And I'm going in with the sponge tip applicator. I'm just going back over top with this Cuivre Brun because I just want it to be a bit more intense. I think once I added the rose color, it kind of diminished the intensity. So just lightly going back into this darker color, I'm just going to add a bit more. And then back into Cuivre Rose, I'm adding a little bit more. I'm looking at the detail of Marion Cotillard's makeup, and as I'm filming this, it doesn't exactly say which shades were combined. It just says that Lucia Pica combined luminous eyeshadows, so Which ones? I'm not sure. Now using a pointed tapered brush like this, I'm using Cuivre Brun and just placing it under the lashes here. And I'm doing the same thing with Cuivre Rose. I am just tracing it under the bottom here. And then back into Cuivre Brun, I'm just going to place a little bit extra here on the outer corner, just for some intensity. So now let's examine fallout. I honestly am not noticing any fallout whatsoever. There's a little bit of shadow in places that I don't want. I think that was just from the brush itself. I don't think it's from actual fallout, which is good. Again, I did use the sponge, and makeup sponges really eliminate fallout because you're literally just packing the shade onto your lid. But I still want to clean up a little bit under my eyes and on the inner corner as well. So what I do is I go into a sample of eye cream and I just dip really lightly with a Q-tip. It's just to get like a hint of eye cream on there. The eye cream will help your Q-tip glide, and it'll also help remove any eyeshadow as well. So I'm just going on the inner corner here because it's a bit too dark for my taste. You could, of course, feel free to just use regular makeup remover, but I find that makeup remover tends to dry out the under eye if you don't, follow it up with a cleanser and all that. So just use a little dot of eye cream to clean this up. Now, for the foundation, I have something brand new and special. This is new from Chanel. This is the Sublimage L'Essence de Teint, and I have the shade B30. So I will go ahead and do a review with wear tests and all that very shortly on my channel. And now for a bit of concealer. I have my Clé de Peau concealer in the shade Almond. Now, with all concealers, if you can just let it sit for a minute, I swear it just covers more. Like whatever concealer you have, just let it chill out for like 10, 20 seconds, a minute if you have, and it just covers more and brightens more. And then with whatever is left on the brush, just go in on the inner corner here to brighten this up. And then to finish up the eyes, let's go into the Chanel Stylo Yeux number 88. It's a black waterproof liner, and the classic Volume de Chanel mascara. And now for the final masterpiece. We have to go into this beautiful illuminating blush. I am really curious as to how it will look on my complexion. So I think that on me, this is just a really lovely blush. There is some luminosity to it, but it's quite subtle. I think if you wear this, you could skip or forego a highlighter because it'll give you that sort of lit from within, really pretty light, but it's not a chunky glitter. It's not over the top. You could actually wear a highlighter over top of this if you choose to, but you could just do one if you wanted to. This is also a really nice subtle color. You can build this up, but you don't have to worry about going too deep right away. I guess I'm like a light to medium skin tone. I'm not exactly sure where I would fall on the scale, but for me, this is an absolutely beautiful, luminous cheek color. Calling this an illuminating blush, I think is exactly what this product is. Now that I have this beautiful blush on, I'm just gonna go back into Cuivre Rose and just add a little hint more here, just to have that pink pop a little bit more. Now let's go ahead and swatch this illuminating blush next to Cuivre Rose because I think that's what a lot of people would like to see. I guess they do look close to each other. I think the blush on me is a bit more plummy. It's a bit more of a plum shade, whereas the eyeshadow is definitely more sparkly. It has a satin finish with some shimmer to it, and it's definitely a bit more peachy in tone as well. So they are similar, but I think they're also different as well. I think I'm going to create a concoction. I have two liquid lipsticks here. The first one is Le Rouge Duo Ultra in Intense Rosewood, and then I have Intense Caramel. So I'm going to go ahead and just create something with these two here. And now to complete our look, we must go in with some fragrance, and clearly we're going into Chanel No. 5. Now I have the most miniature of miniatures here of the Chanel No. 5, the Parfum. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this here. And I have to say, this has to be the most adorable bottle I have ever seen in my entire life. I put a few dots of this perfume on my wrists as well as the back of my ears. So this is my first impressions, first video with this collection here. If you noticed, I did not use this gold color yet. If you are new to my channel, whenever I get a collection, I create multiple different looks with the same collection. So if you have this collection, if you have any of these items, I strongly encourage you to subscribe to my channel because I will pump out multiple different tutorials. That way you at home really get a sense on how to use up all of your makeup. I will mix and match. I will create different things with different collections. So please subscribe and stick around. So first impressions of this new collection here. I think it's really lovely. I actually really like this. As I mentioned, other countries have had this collection for a few months, and I've seen some pretty mixed reviews as well as mixed swatches. I think that the Cuir Brun eyeshadow is the best quality and texture. It feels creamy, it feels buttery and smooth to apply. I think Or Antique is similar to Cuivre Brun in that it's a creamy texture and formula, but it has a different finish. It's a bit more sparkly, a bit more satin. I think that Cuivre Rose is the more sparkly one. Out of the three that I have, Cuivre Rose is the one that I think people might have more issue with because it's almost more volatile, it's more airborne. And I think with this one here, you really should use the makeup sponge to get the color you want. Otherwise, I think it'll be too light and not opaque enough for you. That being said, I think mixing both of these shadows here creates such a beautiful look. I like the color mixed together. I like that you can still tell the difference between some of the colors here. I just think this is a really nice collection. And I have to say that this blush is really nice. I wasn't sure where it would fall on me, if it'd be a blush or a highlighter. For me, it's a really beautiful mix of both. I don't really have many plum shade blushes from Chanel, and this one here just fills that gap. You know, I will be the first to admit that initially I wasn't sure how I felt about this collection because the reviews were so-so. There were a lot of people who didn't like it or didn't like the textures, and I saw a lot of really bad swatches, so it made me think that these shadows wouldn't perform well or wouldn't be good. But in my opinion, I think this is a really lovely collection. I think that this blush is truly one of a kind and lovely. If you're a collector, don't hesitate for this one here. And as far as the eyeshadows go, I think Cuivre Brun is probably the most underrated one. I think a lot of people skip this one because they thought it was just like a regular brown, but it's really lovely. It has a little something something, and I think it works really well with the other shadows in the collection here. I'm surprised that the 4 eyeshadows were not just a single palette, like a quad, because from what I've been playing with, they all seem to work really well together, mixed together. So I don't know why it wasn't all just one palette, but it isn't. So yeah, these are my thoughts and first impressions on these items here. Make sure you are subscribed because I know that a lot of you who watch my videos are not subscribed, and so I would really appreciate it if you would just hit that subscribe button, and also feel free to leave a like or a comment, even if it's just like a little emoji. Every time you engage with my videos, the YouTube algorithm sees that as positive and will send more people my way, and that just helps me out tremendously on my YouTube channel here. So with all of that, thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!